All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Donovan Sadiq. I'm the Inland Empire Informer. I hope you guys are maintaining a good mindset, good health, good heart, good spirit, good faith as we continue to go through this coronavirus syndrome. Please, again, it gets over a lot faster if we stop visiting one another and stop interacting with each other. If you have to go out, just go out for supplies and maintain that 6 foot distance that they are requesting that we do. But in the meantime, a lot of people have been sending me a lot of questions. I was on the Dummycratic show today, as well as our Free Flow Fridays, out which we still have. You can check us out both on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, you name it. We're out there. If you guys just want to watch some stuff and get some entertainment as well as get some a little bit of education, that's a good place to go. But when you do that, please like, share, and comment, be it negative or be it positive. So one of the questions that I've had this week was the question of Joe Biden's running mate. Joe Biden being the Alzheimer's patient who is basically a Hillary Clinton clone. You cannot run a moderate against Donald Trump. We've tried that with Hillary Clinton, and of course, she lost. So the Democratic establishment is trying that again, and they will lose. So now he says that his running mate will be a woman. I think we had a woman running mate in the 80s. Walter Mondale tried that against Ronald Reagan, and they lost. It's funny because it was women who put Donald Trump into the White House. So how do the Democrats think that by having a woman on the ticket is going to lead them to victory? And then they want Democrats, who I call Dummycrats, to vote for a man whose whole platform is he's for the status quo, and his major accomplishment was, I was hanging with Obama. So as a black person, and as black people that might be watching the show, you name me one thing a black president, Barack Obama, did for black people in the 8 years that he was in office. We are always pushed to the last. We do not have an agenda. Actually, we do have an agenda. They don't want to enact that agenda. And thus we're in the situation that we are in as we are right now, if not worse. So knowing that his running mate will be a woman, a name that has been tossed out there is a young lady by the name of Stacey Abrams. And I say she's a young lady, even though she looks way older than me, and it surprised me. She's 3 years younger than me, which, well, she looks way older. But I don't really know a lot about her, but I went and did some research. Stacey Yvonne Abrams, she was born December 9th, 1973, is an American politician, lawyer, and author who served in the Georgia House of Representatives from 2007 to 2017, and served as minority leader from 2011 to 2017. A member of the Democratic Party, she was the party's nominee in the 2018 gubernatorial election, but lost to Brian Kemp without conceding the election. Abrams was the first African-American female major party gubernatorial nominee of the United States. In February 2019, she became the first African-American woman to deliver a response to the State of the Union address, and she was also the first person not to actively hold a office to address the State of the Union. So, obviously this woman's been around a long time. She was in the assembly for a long time. She was a deputy city attorney for the city of Atlanta in 2002 at age 29. And they want this lady to be vice president. Okay. All she has ever done was lose. She could not galvanize black people in Atlanta to vote for her, and she's going to blame it on voter fraud. And that could be a big reason to why, but knowing how Georgia is, and you're in the South, and you know what goes on there, why would you not put that in the equation of your election? So she didn't concede the election, but she still lost, and that's the person we're going to put on the ticket. A lot of people do not know who Stacey Abrams is. A lot of people want tangibles. What has she done? In all the years that she has been in politics, I don't know any major legislation. I mean, I only heard of her during that election period. Even President Obama himself came out and stumped for her, and she still lost. So you Dummycrats, you guys better get it together, because I see another 4 years of Trump, and you cannot beat Donald Trump or the Republican Party running moderates. We are at a point now where people are starting to see that the Democratic Party is just another arm of white supremacy, whereas the Republican Party is the right arm, the Democratic Party is the left arm of white supremacy as a body. Excuse me. So I want to go ahead and shoot this video to you guys so you guys can get a little bit of idea who Stacey Abrams is, what she isn't, and what she's going to bring to the election process if she is nominated to run for Biden. If she is nominated, and I'm not saying this because she's a bad candidate. She's just the vice president. Joe Biden is a bad candidate to run. So if that is going to be the nominee, get ready for 4 more years of Trump. But check out this video and tell me what you think.
The response to the State of the Union.
Good evening.
It's a high-stakes and sometimes awkward job for rising political stars. This year, the response will be delivered by Stacey Abrams.
Every vote gets counted.
So who is she, and what does the choice tell us about the Democratic Party?
Change comes, success comes.
Abrams is a lifelong activist and a lawyer.
As a young black woman.
She worked her way up the political ladder, most recently serving as minority leader for the Georgia House of Representatives.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
In 2018, her progressive campaign for governor electrified the Democratic Party. Abrams' strategy involved registering thousands of new minority voters. But it wasn't enough to win. Her opponent, Brian Kemp, still came out ahead.
I'm moving forward and looking forward to governing our great state.
Since then, Abrams has continued her efforts to try and change how elections work in the state.
We had thousands of Georgians who were purged from the rolls wrongly.
She even brought her message to Georgians with this Super Bowl ad.
Every vote should be counted from every corner of our state.
Abrams will be the first black woman and non-sitting public official to give the rebuttal. Her selection tells us how Democratic leaders see the future.
She's an incredible leader. She knows what working people, middle-class people go through.
After a lot of debate over whether to play to the center or embrace a more progressive and diverse group of voters, with Abrams, the party appears to be courting the latter. These voters delivered Democrats control of the House in 2018, a victory the party is eager to repeat in 2020.
Okay, there you have it. A little bit about Stacey Abrams. Let me give you guys a little bit about her political positions. She is Abrams is a pro-choice advocates for expanding gun control and opposes proposal for stricter voter ID laws. And opposes proposals for stricter voter ID law. That's one of her main things, voter ID. Abrams has argued that voter ID laws disenfranchise minorities and the poor. Abrams pledged to oppose legislation similar to the Religious Liberty bill that Governor Deal vetoed in 2016. Her stance on health care. In her campaign for governor, Abrams said her top priority was Medicaid expansion. She cited research showing that Medicaid expansion improved health care access for low-income residents and made hospitals in rural locations financially viable. She also created a plan to address Georgia's high maternal mortality rate. Gosh, I'm just messing up today. Education. Abrams would like to increase spending on public education. She opposes private school vouchers, instead advocating improvements to the public education system. She supports smaller class sizes, more school counselors, protected pensions, better pay for teachers, and expanding early childhood education. That's something you got to say when you run for politics. And criminal justice reform. Abrams supports criminal justice reform in the form of ending cash bail for poor defendants, ending the death penalty, and decriminalizing small amounts of marijuana possession. Notice that in all her political positions, not once has she said anything about reparations or something that specifically addresses black issues. This is a black woman, and yet she has no policy in regards to addressing black issues. Oh, all rising tides lifts all boats. We don't want that. We want something that addresses us specifically. This is the reason why she will lose, because a lot of us that are waking up and have been woke, we're not going to vote for a Biden-Abrams ticket. We're not even going to vote for Abrams. We are not voting for any politician that does not have a specific black agenda. Number one, addressing reparations, because you don't want to give us universal health care. Give us our $17 trillion down payment with $3 trillion annually for 25 years, and we'll take care of ourselves. That's the bottom line. But here's another example of a politician who has bought into the system and looking out for herself. We are getting sick and tired of so-called black politicians and the Democratic Party who take our vote for granted and can carp and talk for everybody else but their own kind. So, you know, she has a writing career now, and Abrams has published articles on public policy, taxation, and nonprofit organizations. Under the pen name Selena Montgomery, Abrams is the award-winning author of several romantic suspense novels. According to Abrams, she has sold more than 100,000 copies of her novels. Montgomery won both the Reviewer's Choice Award and the Reader's Favorite Award for Romance in Color for Best New Author and was featured as a rising star. Abrams is also the author of Minority Leader, How to Lead from the Outside and Make Real Change. You cannot change anything from the outside. You have to be on the inside to change it. And the system has shown you that. The establishment has shown you that. So that was a little bit about Stacey Abrams. I hope you guys will do a little bit more education for yourselves on her. I'm not voting for her. I will not support her or any candidate that does not have a black agenda on their platform. This woman is a black woman, and once again, another black politician, be it John Lewis, be it Aunt Maxine, be it a Corrine Brown, be it any of these black, you name them, Kamala Harris, they do not have a black agenda. They only come around when it's election time and they need our votes and say what they're going to do. We're going to fight for you. I don't want you to fight for reparations. I want you to get it done. Get it done. Anybody can fight. Fighting could take years. Get it done. I need a politician that's going to get my agenda done. I'm Donovan Sadiq, the Inland Empire Informer. You've just been informed on Stacey Abrams and why she should not be the Democratic nominee for vice president. She's basically another loser